All right, welcome to everyone to our October 2024 AA Technology Sharing Session. The idea for these sharing sessions came about during the 2023 National AA Technology Workshop. There was a common feeling that our community of technology trusted servants needed more frequent opportunities to get together and share our experience than just once a year. So these monthly sessions are an attempt to meet that need. The sessions will always be the last Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. Eastern Time or 4 p.m. Pacific Time. The one exception is that our December 2024 session will be on December 17th instead of the last Tuesday of December to avoid conflicting with New Year's Eve. The topic of today's session is Discourse and the inner workings of the Technology and AA Forum. There will be one 45-minute presentation from Lu Ji. After the presentation, we'll have about 30 minutes for questions and sharing. So as you listen to the presentation, please write down any questions or comments that come to mind so you won't forget them. And we'll finish at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time. These sharing sessions and the format are still an experiment. This is our 10th one, but we're still figuring it out. So please provide your feedback at the end through the survey link that will be put in the chat. And for these sharing sessions to evolve into a long-term sustainable service project, we need your help. So I'm going to read this, but first put it in the chat. Please consider signing up to chair a technology sharing session. This will involve picking the topic and arranging the presenters. And actually, most of the topics and presenters are already starting to arrange. So mostly, you'll just be doing what I'm doing now, which is reading the format and then facilitating the question and answer session at the end. And while you're welcome to sign up to chair a month as an individual, feel free to take it on as an area or a group of trusted servants. And if you're available to chair a session or interested in serving on our steering committee, please reach out to techsharing-sessions@gmail.com. There may be links and other information put in the chat throughout the session today, so that you don't have to worry about collecting it all, and you can just listen along. It will all be available in a Google document. And here is that link. Lastly, please consider these sharing sessions as a learning group. Very few of us here are experts in technology. We're just AA members that made ourselves available to help our local service entities. And because of that, we now have some experience to share. So with that in mind, let's get into today's topic. Our sole presenter today is Lu Ji from Colorado Area 10. I've interacted with Lu numerous times on the Technology and AA Forum over the years. So it was really cool to meet Lu in person back into September at the most recent National AA Technology Workshop. And I'm personally really excited for this presentation. I think I was the one that really requested this. Because since I first got on the Technology and AA Forum, I've been really impressed. The user interface and just the overall design of it seems like super high quality compared to other forums I've participated in. So we're going to get to learn what's behind the scenes of that, and I'm going to turn it over to Lu.
Thanks, Jacob. And this all set up so that I could easily get to sharing. There we go. I presume you all are seeing my screen now. As Jacob mentioned, there's a few people through the years. Our forum has been online since the second NATW workshop, National IAA Technical Workshop. And we've grown and maintained that. And through the years, there have been a few people that have come up, like Jacob mentioned, and asked sort of what's behind the scenes for doing this this workshop. So our presentation today is largely a just a uh, uh, discussion in general at a very high level, sort of superficial. What is our forum? A little bit about the history, not too much. If you're interested in more of the history and more in depth about the forum, you may actually want to go to the presentations from this year's National IAA Technical Workshop, where we did a brief presentation of what the forum is and how it works as a forum. And then more to this audience today, we're going to talk about how is it built and supported. So to get started on that, this is going to be quite a bit more interactive, I think, than the past tech sharing sessions. And in fact, I want to encourage people, if they would kind of violate the rules that we normally abide by in these workshops, in that if you have a question that comes up, it's hard for me to see the chats. You can try chatting me in the window, but if or on the Zoom, but if you can't get to me on the chat, then feel free to raise your hand or jump in. And I forget, Jacob. I think people are allowed to unmute themselves. Is that correct?
Yeah, people can unmute, and if someone sends a chat, I'll unmute and interrupt you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. But to get a context, how many of you are members of NAATW? And I guess the simplest way to do this, I didn't set up a Zoom poll or anything that formal, but if you want to just raise your virtual hands, we'll get a sense. I recognize a lot of the names on here. In fact, a lot of the names from the forum leadership are here. So if you're a member, if you could raise your hand. I know that gets some of us out of the way. We like to listen to these things, and you gotta actually interact. But I appreciate that. So looks like about half of us here are members. So of those that are members, how many of you are what you would consider, in your own definition, an active member of the forum? In other words, you read it at least once a week for new posts, or you post often, maybe a few times a year. Okay. Okay, so it looks like everybody, or several of you, have a general familiarity of. And again, we've got lots of people on this meeting with leadership actually in the forum. And then how many of you have posted, not posted, but read the forum in say the last 6 months? Okay. Okay. Again, about the same number of people. So, okay. So about you, uh, more questions to get a sense of who it is that I'm actually talking to in terms of level of experience. If you raise your hand, if you're very comfortable with online forums, if you participate in online forums, like uh, uh, you could set one up if you needed to, or and maybe even run technical support. Okay, quite a bit of experience to share. How about if you're those that might need support just to log in or join a forum, you would need to get one of your grandkids to help you in my case, or would have to get somebody else. Um, you feel like you're sort of a forum novice. Cool. Okay. Getting lots of good information here. So for those of you that may have answered any of the questions before, how many of you currently use these kind of tools to stay connected? Facebook, particularly Facebook groups or Google groups, Slack, Discord, or any other platform. Okay, cool. Getting better than half of the people. Um, uh, Raise your hand now if you think uh, 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 privacy is the biggest challenge in an online community. Um, uh, you know, if you're concerned when you are typing something on a Google group that they're watching over your shoulder, or you got burned on an experience on Facebook or something like that. Okay, got pretty good experience again here. Um, so uh, let's see. Let's, how many on this call today would rather avoid online forums? I'd rather pick up a phone and call somebody, or just show up at my house rather than try to deal with anything. Okay, one brave admitter of kind of being digitally reluctant in this kind of a community. Well, hopefully we've got something here for you as well. Finally, raise your hand if you would please, if what you want to most hear about today is the technical setup about how we built TIAA Forum and kind of what's the nuts and bolts of everything that's involved here. Okay. Um, who's interested in strategies for keeping a community welcoming and friendly that would like to as we've had as a principal ideal amongst the leadership team on the TIAA forum, that we want people to have a good and affirming experience, and that we want to help people get along. So, okay. And how many are on the forum today that would just like to learn how they can stop from getting a million notifications from the forum? This forum became quite active around um, the time of the pandemic, and at the time we made it an unfortunate or an ill-informed choice about some of our settings, and it wasn't uncommon for the forum to generate uh, uh, over a dozen notifications a day to all of our members, and we found that. So how many want just hear tips on our forum about how to avoid or manage the number of notifications you get? Okay, interesting. So that's all I have in terms of a general perspective. Have I missed anything? Is there somebody who none of these questions really resonated for, and but you do have some specific information you'd like to come away from the forum? Would you like to raise your hand and share that with us. Okay. Jane, what would you like to hear most about?
Thanks, Lou. You brought up many things I'd like to hear about. I really don't know how to use the direct chat feature one-to-one, and I'd like to learn that tonight, if I could, please.
Cool.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have a specific thing they'd like to know? Jane, did you have another one? Oh, Karen.
Yeah, my problem is I keep getting dropped from notifications. And I've worked with Lois once before, and she finally got me back up to where I was getting notifications, and then a few months later it stopped. And oh no, I'll contact you offline. It's just crazy. And maybe since then, maybe some settings have changed that I'm not aware of. But my point is that I do not get notifications, but I love.
Okay, well, two things about that. One is, by all means, if you ever have personal problems like that or things like that, info@tiaaforum.org should always be your friend. That goes to a few people who are in the leadership team, both in the community management and platform folks that may be able to help either debug a problem on our end or help you get things worked out. So we will always have support available. The other thing I'd like to offer that's really a little out ahead of our headlights here, because this isn't formally scheduled yet, but we do have a hope that sometime next year we'll be able to have another session similar to this that will strictly be focused on user experience on the forum. So things like, how can I use chat like I on the forum, like I use Slack in my communication around my committee or whatever. So, I think we hope to do some things, and also we have an aspiration to among the community management folks to do a lot to support our user education so that our members really have additional resources, maybe even some videos and things about how do I manage my notifications and how do I deal with chat. So any other general questions before we sort of get into things? So okay, one of the primary things I wanted to talk about here, since many of you are interested in what we have built and how it's built, is that we have sorry, I'm trying to manage my Zoom here at the same time I'm doing the presentation, so I'm not doing a very good job of any of that. So we just put up a post. It's actually a update of an old feature that we had on the front end of our forum that was a what we call a colophone. Those of you that are familiar with the old O'Reilly books, they would always include a colophone, which was basically an explanation of what kind of what kind of font was used and how the book was bound, and it was kind of a specific uh, uh, discussion of. I'm sorry, I've got to do some navigation behind the screen. I got some stuff mixed up here when I set this up. So um, okay. Now I think I can share this. And
I'm not sure that's the right thing, Lou. We're seeing like library.
yeah, for some reason, okay. So you're not seeing my Firefox screen.
No.
Okay.
Lou, we see bookmarks, other bookmarks menu.
Okay. Okay, now you're seeing the one of the new features on our forum is the calendar. I'm not sure if you've noticed this, but um, because I navigated around away from where I had been before, I couldn't find my uh, 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 general screen. But let me go in and change my. Those of you that are interested in uh, in some of the interface kinds of things, let me go in and set the interface to. Okay, so now we should see. Okay, so this is a non-privileged account that I have. I'm showing you this one first, so we don't have to deal with personal the PII stuff, the personal identification. But there's a new post up in the technology category called the colophon. That's what I was trying to get to. And this is an overall description of what the forum is, how it's built, a little bit about why we built it the way we did, or what we were thinking 10 years ago when we put this together. And so I'm going to be referencing a lot of stuff today that if you don't catch in the notes, or if you don't remember exactly what I was talking about, or if you have suggestions for future kinds of things that we might want to do, or want more details of any of the kinds of things that we're working on, there's a lot of the detail is included in this post. So in terms of things that you might want to see that we didn't get around to covering, in the kind of detail that you would like to see. Again, that's just kind of a catch holder post. So going back to my presentation here briefly. Note to self, when you do these, you should have fewer screens and tabs open so that you can get back and forth from where you want. So. Okay. Okay, I'm finally where my Zoom was. So basically, what comprises the two main services that we have on the forum is based on the DNS routes. When you go to TIAA forum .org, TIAA-forum.org, where you wind up is a WordPress front end. This is our public access that we have to the forum, and it as much as we have been able to put it together as a seamless interface to the actual private forum, which is the discourse-based forum. So when we're talking about discourse today, we're talking about the regular forum. And most of the information there, almost all of the information and anything that you would typically post in any of the regular categories there is only available to members. To become a member, you join really off of the WordPress front end. That's again our public access. And that's really where all the confirmations begin. Excuse me. Since 2022, we've had that as we've used the Discourse managed service. That means that we pay money to the team that actually built and supports Discourse to host and manage the day-to-day operations of that. Before 2022, the admin team took that on as a privately sourced. We did that on our own virtual private server. In addition to that, we've got this WordPress front end. It's a public access, as I mentioned a couple of times ago, and it's basically one of its primarily utilities is that since this is the only way the crawlers like Google can see the anything, it's really allows us to provide a front door, for lack of a better term, marketing perspective of here's the forum, here's what you can do on the forum, and that's where that's located. We also maintain on that forum hot topics and the payment management. So the explanation of again of how that works. This is a terrible graphic that doesn't reflect at all the amount of effort I tried to put in trying to diagram this. So I apologize. But coming from your computer or phone or whatever you have as a device, you go to anything in TIAA form, and it goes to the DigitalOcean DNS server. DigitalOcean is the supplier of our VPSs, virtual private servers, that we have for all of our information. If you're going to the TIAAforum.org, in other words, the real front page or general facing entree to our forum, that's a WordPress instance that's running on its own VPS. We have another VPS that we have as a test instance there where we do basically all of our testing before we put anything up live on what we call our production or prod instance for WordPress or anything that's public facing. We run it through fairly rigorous effort on testing. When you go to the discourse.tiaa-forum.org URL, which is where you'll be redirected on the world, then you'll wind up going to the managed service. We still have admin access to all of the information on Discourse, but we don't deal with the maintenance of the system that runs on, or the email that's associated with the traffic that's associated there with notifications and messages and things like that. However, we've got a complete duplicate of a backup of a history. This gets backed up daily. There's weekly snapshots of that are taken that we'll actually clone and run on our own test Discourse instance that will be running on our DigitalOcean. So let me show you what that looks like in our in our world. Okay, so we're back on the forum again. Some
No,
of you
hey Lou, we're not seeing anything.
you got to hit the share button to do that. Sorry. Okay, thanks, Lois. You're seeing it now, I presume. We're back to the colophon?
Yep. Gotcha.
Okay.
Yes.
So to go to the TIAA forum WordPress instance, you may have noticed this sort of confusing bit of navigation that's there. And if there's anybody on the call that come up with a better way of seeing this or naming this or accomplishing this navigation, I would your whole leadership team would be very appreciative your inputs, because we've struggled with this now for several years. But if you in the unlikely event that you're in the forum per se, and you want to go back to, this shows you the difference between, this is all WordPress. Anything that you see from this page is WordPress. So we've got what we call our hot topics, and the current information that's updated occasionally in that world. We've got general information about our forum, again, sort of the front end piece, and we've got a contact sheet that's, and again, this is all pretty familiar for the many of you that probably manage WordPress sites. What we and that's all running on WordPress. When you do this middle button here, it goes to the Discourse instance. And so with that, let's see, I want to do something else here. So one of the things that you'll notice is that okay, now can we get this tab? Interesting. Okay. So so what I've done here is I've actually gone to a private tab. So what I've done here is I've actually gone to a private tab. I'm not logged into the forum here. So you see a little different behavior here. I just wanted to point this out. I thought this is a bit of a curiosity that you might want to see how it is we do what we do. Both Discourse and WordPress know that I'm not logged into in this private tab, private browser. So it gives me a different screen on the than what I see with the forum sign, join, login than I would with the other ones. So with that, I'm running long on what I wanted to do on the presentation. So I'm going to actually share now a logged in screen on the actual forum with my admin. So I guess before I do that, what I ought to do is go back to the other screen and show. So on this one, here you see that we are logged in. So we go to the forum home. And this is at point 40 or 40 minutes into the recording. If you want to make a notation for this will be blurred because we're going to be going through some personal identification, PII kinds of things that we don't want public. So this screen and subsequent screens will be blurred. So I'm still logged in with my non-privileged account. And so this is what generally the people on this forum is seeing. You see we've got categories here. We've got a sidebar here, which we can see or get rid of by hitting this hamburger menu. And this is the general navigation and notifications and those kinds of things. The calendar that I mentioned before is here, and again, we think will have additional utility to our folks to be able to see events that folks would be interested. But the general what happens is that this takes you to the general category where you'll see all of the various things that are available, all the various posts. Again, you hover over a avatar, and you can see specific user information, who's doing what. You can, and getting to one of the questions we had, to do a chat with a private chat with a particular individual. You can just hit the avatar and then hit the chat window there. If you want to do more general kinds of chat, you see that you can chat with anybody who is subscribed to this channel, and that's wide open to all members for any of the visible chat windows that are there. So that's the way that works. I'm going to now share my other screen to give you a sense of where again, this will be all this information will be hidden. You see, as an admin on the forum, I've got access to quite a few things you didn't see on the other screen. We've got things like admin to actually be able to go in and change various site settings. When I go to an avatar to look at a particular user's account, I get the same information, but if as an admin, I can go and actually for specific users, help them with their settings or the kinds of things that you can administer on your own account, but you may not be able to, or you won't be able to do that on anybody else's account, so that admins and moderators can help members figure out problems.
Wow, that's a cool like cover that Chap had too. Just
Yeah.
saying. If you guys
Yeah.
want to make yourself look like fancy, I'm guessing we can do that too.
Absolutely, you can use that's done in your you go to your profiles here. You can actually go in and uh, set all of your preferences however you want. Anything from your avatar to anything that you want around the background. Mine isn't as pretty and nice as Chap's because I'm not as cool as he is, but you can go in and uh, look at all of the stuff that's associated with your uh, um, profile for your uh, general presentation. So it's the information about me, headers, that kind of stuff, which is where Shap did all of that on his. So um, it's interesting. Using this fancy custom cursor, and it doesn't have the kind of click sensitivity that the regular cursor does, evidently. So I think what I'd like to do here really is uh, uh, open up. I noticed Jane's chat here. Um, uh, if you want to chat to a specific individual, that's there. The difference between chat and messages is really pretty fine. Chat messages are intended for something more temporal, like you typically do in a Slack sort of thing. Chat, you can set up channels that are communicated to specific groups. At this point, the admins have to set up that channel, but again, info@tiaaforum.org is your friend. You can request that way. You can our admins are pretty active on the forum. You can message them directly. You can do any number of things to ping one of us, and we'd be happy to set up a chat channel if you have a group of you that want to go forward. So I have focused this much more around the forum. Is there anybody who's interested in seeing the back end of what we've done with WordPress? Okay, there's at least one couple. So one of the things that you'll notice when I go to this front end, when I go to this front end, I've got the typical WordPress dashboard. So WordPress knows, for the reasons that I pointed out before, that whether I've logged into the forum or not. Only users, only only members can actually log into the forum. You have to have joined the forum. So that's there. This is the very familiar to those of you that have done WordPress of the dashboard with things that are going on. The specific plugins that we use are pretty simple. We've got the ones that are pretty active are Elementor, which is our theme. Some of you would probably use Divi or other environments that do whole theming environments. When we did the redesign a couple of years ago, where we created the Forum 2.0, which has a much more active WordPress front end, we made the decision to the board made the decision to go ahead and go with a supported, heavily supported theme. So we wound up with Elementor Pro. And the other thing that we've got we're trialing Matomo as a analytics. Those of you that are familiar with Google Analytics, either from your service work or whatever, we're trialing Matomo as a way to get more information for our community management folks to see what's going on there. There's we're not actually using the if menu or the redirection plugins anymore, or table press. I don't think there's any table press. For mail to get to us on the WordPress front end, we use a plugin for that. And the interface we have to our Stripe or payment processor is WP WordPress Simple Pay Pro. And then the interface that we have to Discourse to do the kinds of things that we're talking about in terms of keeping the user state logged in is through the plugin that Discourse provides for that linkage. So, are there any questions about WordPress, Karen?
I have a quick question. I'm just curious how you are using the table press plugin.
I'm sorry, which one?
Are you using the table press plugin?
No,
to embed tables?
No, we had some tables on our old front end, and we've gotten rid of that with features that
Yeah, I
we
was just
got
curious. I'm
with
just
Elementor Pro. I've used it,
Okay, cool.
and it's a good plugin, but it didn't meet our needs, and also what we were using it for is some of the things that we now use tables on Discourse. They've got the markdown table stuff supported pretty well. So any other questions on WordPress? Okay, Ivan.
Okay, the question I have is, how do you use the Matamoto? Do you use it like for analytics? What type of analytics are you looking for?
Well, what Matomo provides, we aren't actively using it. It's not fully implemented on our production server. But what it can provide, and what we're hopeful to get from this, are things like user engagement, how how much time people spend on a site, on a page. Typically it's used to look at what they call in the industry bounce, people that show up and deal with. But it's if you're familiar with any other analytics, particularly Google Analytics, they are almost feature for feature compatible. The big difference and basis for our looking for an alternative to Google Analytics is that with Matomo, we get to keep all of the data within our own environment. Thus, we don't have to, we don't have a cookie that's managed by an external entity like Google.
Lou,
Okay,
it may
so
be worth
quick
mentioning.
also- I
Lou,
just
it may be
have one
worth
other quick
mentioning as well
question,
that
and that is like with Matsumoto, do they use email, personal email, like email addresses connected to the TIAA account, or do they just use username?
Neither. As with Google Analytics, what they do is they have a token. We can't go with Matomo. We can't find out your email address or any of that kind of stuff. So all of the linkages are referential within a user's visit, and that user is tracked only by IP address, and from IP address you can get things like region, where they're from, and those kinds of things. Again,
Thanks.
but it's all tokenized. Mike, what did you want to say?
Oh, I thought it might be worth mentioning, Lou, that the main reason that we're interested in Matomo is because while Discourse provides insight into user behavior within the forum, we have no visibility to what's going on the front end. So we don't know, for example, how many people come to the forum, take a look at the hot topics that are posted on the front end, and then decide for whatever reason not to join the forum. We have no visibility to that at all.
Right. Yeah. Reminds me of one of the things I was just going to show to just kind of give a sense of what's going on is I was going to show within Discourse per se. This is what Mike was talking about. We've got excellent information of what's going, what's gone on for traffic over the last several months or years. So this shows our traffic growth from a particular time.
Yeah, so Lou, we're a little over your presentation time, so if you're open to it, I think we should just open it to questions.
Sure.
And yeah,
I kind of got out ahead of you there, so I'd be happy to go wherever we want to go. So
yeah, we're already kind of just doing questions and whatnot, but well, let me get back to my format so I don't forget something important. But let's see. We'll now move into questions and sharing. If you have a question on the topic or you'd like to share your own experience on the topic, please raise your virtual hand under reactions. Although I think some of the Zoom updates, it's next to reactions now, but please keep your share to 3 minutes or less. And if your share does reach 3 minutes, I'll give you a gentle reminder to wrap up. So yeah, please raise your digital hand if you have a question for Lou. I'll start us off. because I think Discourse is such a great great forum that like I feel like if I wanted to start a forum, that's exactly what I'd be looking at. But it is open source software, but my understanding is that it's pretty resource intensive, and that's why a lot of people just go with the hosted Discourse, because unlike WordPress that you can run on a pretty, low cost shared server, Discourse won't, I guess, work very well on that. I don't know, but if you could talk a little about why you guys chose to move from self-hosting to hosted in 2022, and I was just looking at the pricing of the Discourse, the hosted Discourse, and I'm curious what tier the TIAA forum is, like how much it costs to run the TIAA forum every month.
Excellent points and excellent questions. Um, we started out self-hosting Discourse primarily for cost reasons, but for all of the reasons that you mentioned. It's open source and all of that kind of stuff. So we ran through 2022 on a 2 megabyte or 2 gigabyte VPS, one CPU. And that supported not only Discourse, but our WordPress front end. Turns out WordPress is actually more of a pig in terms of server resources than Discourse. Discourse is actually a very complicated implementation, in that it's all Ruby on Rails with an Ember front end and all of that kind of stuff. But what that really means is that it really sips the server resources. So it's very, very snappy and good with resources in general. And it comes contained as a Docker image. So everything that we did in terms of managing, and still do, because keep in mind, our test instances run on our own VPS. That's self-hosted. We didn't get with our tiering that we would have a staging server, and we really needed that because, for example, this top banner that you hear, this is what we call a brand header, and that's all code that we generate, and so that's custom to our environment based on hooks that are built into the Discourse application. So we're very protected, if you will, from the complexity of all of the Ruby on Rails and the 100 and some packages that are dependencies for their app. But it all comes packaged as a Docker image. And so everything we've ever run self-hosted has been in a single Docker container. And that, again, with pretty minimal resources, under $10 a month DigitalOcean droplet will give you all the resources you need to run Discourse and a little bit. In terms of the level that we're at we went in with the minimal level to just try out the managed service, and we've been able to stay there. But the thing that was gating about our use is that we needed business to have 15 what they call staff, admins and moderators. Because of the way that we support this, we've got a team of about that many people that work on that. So suffice to say that it's been a learning experience on the one hand, but on the other hand, it's a great thing. So the retail price for the business plan that we're in is $300 a month. But because we're a 501c3, the nonprofit discount on that is half. So currently what we're paying is $150 a month for their support. And it's just been phenomenal support. We've never had a ticket or an issue. And we've had a few that they haven't gotten back to us within a very reasonable amount of time. So does that answer your question?
Yep, no. Well, I guess I'm curious, what was the mentality, or what made you initially go from self-hosted to hosted?
Primarily resources. If we look across our community, we've got lots of people who have experience with WordPress, but very few that actually have direct experience with and everything that WordPress is built on: PHP, JavaScript, HTML. You know, I mean, you can probably of the 3,000 members on the forum, there's probably several hundred that would be able to do everything we're doing that I showed on our WordPress front end. Not so much with the back end. So when you deal with support of this theme, those kinds of things. Right now, there's really only 3 of us on the platform team or in the admin team that have had any direct experience with that. And we were feeling a little vulnerable about that. And so we realized that the service really depends on, or our community really depends on that enough that we wanted to put some money into that. So, Mike,
Yeah.
you had a question?
I just wanted to add to that, Jacob. The other aspect of it was, sustainability and resilience, and Lou kind of touched on that with the word vulnerability. As we all know, in AA, they have something called rotation. So it's I guess maybe a way to say it is that the forum had gotten to a level of maturity where it was agreed, the board agreed that it would make sense to perpetuate it indefinitely. I guess maybe in the beginning it was a bit of an experiment, but now it's well established and people rely on it for information and for sharing their ideas.
That makes a lot of sense. And yeah, thank you. That was a great answer from Lou and Mike. Any other questions?
If I could, I'd like to wrap up maybe with a couple of slides here, since it looks like we don't have any particular questions. Let's see here.
Go for it.
Okay. So are you seeing the organization slide?
No, not yet. There you go.
Okay. That's weird. So So some of what we've been talking around here really is I took this on really as a presentation because I've got the background and experience, but the people behind the organization is really the drivers of what's going on. Our admin team is comprised of a community management sub-team and a platform sub-team. And for the overall forum and dealing with the accepting and allocating contributions and that kind of stuff, that's all managed, as well as the whole perspective of how you how we set and deal with policy is all accomplished by the board. And that leads basically to the same shameless plug that I always give at this, is that we really need help at all levels, at all levels of technology and at all levels of experience. We really, first of all, Mike's done several presentations where he's realized that as we've gone out to the broader AA community, we're really not that very well known. I mean, we think we can boast that we've got 3,000 members, probably on the order of somewhere between 300 and 500 active members. But our overall impact on the overall existence of AA is still can grow. And so by all means, at your home groups, at your various service entities, please help us get the word out that we really have a community that is really built to help for the furtherance of AA in our primary purpose. And that drives everything we do. And so these are those people, that a few of them are on here or are active in the tech sharing sessions in the past and will be in the future. But basically, thanks to all of you. Mike mentioned rotation, and I have been asked to be able to continue on with the efforts year by year. I have a job a year at a time for 10 years, but eventually somebody will need to take over as the admin team lead, and we really need help. But for me, it's been the greatest blessing of my AA service career. It's I've learned a lot. I've made a lot of mistakes. I have had a lot of fun and met some treasured special people, and so thank you for saving my life. So as per usual, these slides and the audio of this, I guess Jacob will mention in his closing epilogue. But does anybody have any other questions or comments or suggestions? Is there too much, too little here? Jane.
Thanks. I'm Jane, an alcoholic in lieu. That elementary question I asked about sending a message, would you help me learn more. I sent you a message. Did it go through? And I think I heard that means it's only for you along the way. Did I get that right? I'm just
Uh,
checking my learning curve here.
Yeah, I can go, let me see.
It's your admin. I sent it to your admin
Okay,
avatar.
yeah, I got your message. And thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah,
I,
it's,
and as far as if you wanted to do that in chat, you would just instead of where you clicked, if you went off of my avatar, if you bring up my avatar and you've got two choices of message versus chat, and you can send me a chat message that way too.
I sent you a regular message because the definition, I guess I'm a little confused. It's more temporal and we can set up channels.
Yeah,
Is both the message and the chat private to one person?
right. Now we need to be
Yeah?
careful. These private messages inside of the forum are personal messages. In other words, the message you sent only came to me. You can send messages to multiple people if you put multiple addresses in there, but it still is a managed part of our service. So they are moderated. In other words, if there's somebody who becomes abusive on the forum or is in some way, well, we're AA here. We know we know when we've crossed the line. So it still has it's still able to be seen by administrators and moderators, but that's only
actually comforting.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so you personal messages are not private messages, and it's the same with chat. If you send a personal message in chat, the difference with chat is that again, you can send personal or personal chats to multiple people, but if you have that going on for a lot of people, then the only real difference is that chat messages disappear after some period of time. And I forget off the top of my head what that's set for at this point, but I think it's about 3 months. So that's why I say it's temporal. It'd be things like we use the chat a lot for our platform team, and so we'll say, well, our regular meeting time this month is on Thanksgiving. Can we move it to the 1st of December or something like that? It's something that's got a more immediate need and no real need to archive it. So.
Thank you. That's really helpful. Learning. I'm light years from where I was, and I'm light years from where I'd like to be. So thank you.
Well, welcome. Keep in there, and you're what makes this forum worthwhile. So, Mike.
Yeah, one thing that might be worth mentioning in the chat context, Lou, is that it is within the forum. In other words, as opposed to an SMS text, via Google Message or what have you, Apple, you name it. It is in that sense private and secure. And so one of the things that it might be valuable for folks would be for things like assemblies, where you might want to have a back channel, among the folks that are hosting the assembly or things of that nature. It could be of use in those kinds of contexts. Just wanted to put that out there, Lou.
I find that particularly helpful as a person who feels like I have enough apps. Do I have to have another app?
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
When we turned on chat, we've had chat on for a little over a year now, I think. And when we turned it on, we thought it'd be great for as a replacement for Slack. I mean, a lot of us are used to using Slack and particularly in the back channel way that Mike was talking about. But you know, the problem is there's two problems with that. You know, one is that it's only available to members who are members of the or to people who are members of the forum. Well, you know, in some instances that's people don't want to join yet another thing. But for those of us, you know, I love chat personally for the exact reason that you mentioned, Jane, is that I, the Slack teams that I'm part of, I'm there infrequently enough that the interface isn't familiar to me, and it's not exactly using Markdown the same way that the forum uses it, and so I'd really like to keep, if at all possible, within the forum parameters that I'm familiar with. But I'm so yeah. Again, we'll see if other people find chat useful. But the other thing is that chat takes a little while to get used to. The notification parameters are set differently in the same place, but differently than messages. So a lot of people that you chat to may not see their notifications, and usually that's a function of education about turning on the notifications, as we talked about before. We need more experience around that and sharing. So.
All right, well, that brings us to the end of our time. Thank you so much, Lou, and everyone who asked such great questions. If you have further questions or ideas, this is the standard part of the format. Can you guess where I'm going to suggest that we continue the discussion? It's the Technology in AA forum. So, you know, feel free to keep talking there, and you guys are all invited to spend a whole weekend learning about and discussing how to best use technology for AA service by attending the 2025 National AA Technology Workshop. And the location and date are to be determined. But you know, start thinking about doing that.
Jacob, could
Yes.
could I add one thing since we're talking about future stuff?
Yeah.
At the board meeting last week, the decision was made that we're going to have the TIAA forum is going to host a hospitality suite at the International in Vancouver. So look forward to seeing you all in person, giving you all a hug if you want one, and would really appreciate being part of your dance card for that incredible gathering. So,
And that's
Nice.
not free either. Tell your friends.
yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I'm going, so I'll see you there, Lou.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned prior to the presentation starting, we are a learning group with varying levels of technology experience, from beginners to experts. And because we're a learning group, that means all of you are eligible to present at future tech sharing sessions on the topic you've learned something about in your journey of AA service. So most of you have probably already filled this out, but if you have not, here's a topic survey. You can put what topics you'd like to learn about, but also what topics you have some experience you could share. Here is a feedback form for today's session. And then last, I guess second to last, if you don't know, there's a archive with all the recordings and Google Docs for all the sessions, and today's recording will end up there sometime in the next week. And if you'd like to get that recording link emailed to you as well as a 1 week out reminder email, you can send an email to techsharing-sessions@gmail.com. And yeah, with that, we're gonna stop the recording.